It's the start of a brand new adventure, and this week we've returned to the award-winning Ballyness caravan site in Bushmills. We've battled the howling winds of Storm Kathleen.
Just as we're saying that now, I think we're now also going into a hailstorm.
And we also revisited some of our favourite places to eat in the local area, as well as a drive-on beach. So we managed to park up in a place called Portchurch Strand. So get ready, because caravan season starts now. So we're on the road again, ready to start a brand new adventure. We're heading back to Ballyness, which was the first campsite that we ever visited, and one that we really wanted to go back to. So it's worth noting that before we left the house we checked the weather forecast, because we're due to run into Storm Kathleen over the weekend. So this is the first time that you've driven the caravan in the wind. How are you finding it?
It's a wee bit shaky at points, especially when it gets more open. Just as we're saying that now, I think we're now also going into a hailstorm, so we are. It's typical Irish spring. So it is. You're going to get all the seasons in one. As well as choosing this site because we really liked it the first time we ever went. Because of my recovery, we wanted to go somewhere we knew which was more or less flat and level. Really well looked after, and just a really good site that I wouldn't have to really do too much or move too much, because I'm still recovering from my operation.
What's the plans for whenever we get here?
Well, because I'm still quite sore and stuff, you're going to have to be the one that sets up the caravan. So I can drive it into position, and then essentially you have to do everything else from that.
So it's going to be my first time actually properly doing that.
You could have stacks of fun with the toilet, so you are.
It's the one bit I'm not looking too forward to, but I think that I can do it. I think I can manage it.
It's not difficult. It's just not the nicest thing to have to do.
So it's going to be a learning curve for me as well, because eventually we do plan to do full-time fan life, and we will have to learn this stuff. Well, not just Stephen, who usually does it, but I will have to learn this stuff too. So it's a good experiment for that.
And then I'm thinking afterwards for dinner maybe we'll get a chippy, because there's a couple of nice chippies in the town.
Yeah, so there you go. From talking about the toilet to talking about the chippy. Bushmill as a town actually has a lot of little chippies and little shops in it, which is really good for us because it's handy and it's close to the caravan site that we're in. The chippy that we're going to is called the Hip Chip. We got out of it last time, and I don't think we recorded it for our video, so we'll definitely be giving it a go this time and checking it out again.
So we're here, and Tony's going to go and check us into the reception so that we can get our wee plot, get set up. Rosie's excited, aren't you, Rosie? Rosie! She's either excited or annoyed because Tony's away. Rosie! Rosie! Excited? Excited? So here comes Tony coming back. Hopefully with our site number. Hopefully he doesn't get blown away by the wind. Alright. Well, did you get a site?
So we're pitch 47. What we need to do is go to this first one and go around. It's a one-way system, so go around the turning circle and then back in to 47.
Round the turning circle and back in?
Yes, so go right around.
Right, okay.
The pitches at Ballyness are all really spacious and easily laid out, so finding our number wasn't hard at all, and after some guiding in, it was time to set up. So what's the first thing we need to do?
You need to make sure the caravan's level first. So it is. So if you open here's the keys. Mm-hmm. You know the wee spirit level? Get the spirit level. Right, so if you get the spirit level, right, and then you put it like as close against the axle as you can. Caravan's shaking a bit, but yeah, that should do dead on. And then you also do it this way. So yeah, we're pretty much bang on there, actually, both ways. Right, so the next step is going to be unhooking the caravan from the car.
Right.
So you want to put the jockey wheel down first.
Yeah.
Which is
this one?
Yeah, yeah. And push down on this to get that to come down.
Yeah.
So they're touching the ground.
Yeah.
So tighten the wee red one again. Do you know what? See, because it is just so windy and stuff, I would actually get the wheel chocks. And I would put them under the wheels.
Putting in the wheel chocks were essential because at this point, Storm Kathleen was starting to blow intensely.
I would say our caravan's going to end up in our country with the way this one is.
We quickly tried to get the legs down in one shape and wire up the electric cable.
We have electric, so the next thing we want to do is our water. So a lot of campsites won't actually have this wee fitting here. They just have the hose tap, so it's always make sure you have this wee fitting that goes on to your hose connection, just like that.
We fit the connection to our site's tap.
Plug this into your caravan. And then pull that down if it's plugged in properly, just to protect it. And then this is just instead of the aqua roll. So if you have a fully serviced pitch, usually it comes with water, so you can just plug straight into the water.
We turned on the water tap and let it flow to the caravan.
Say yes, in divorce.
These were famous last words, because after having a full-blown argument over how to remove a caravan cover in 70mph wind, we eventually got the damn thing off and finished by setting up the inside of the caravan. So what are you doing in here?
I'm filling the water butt because we're not using it, just to add a wee bit of weight to the caravan, just to take a bit of the shake and stuff out of it, because the wind's coming from this direction. So if we have more weight, it should hopefully steady it a wee bit more.
Yeah, so if you look in here, we've actually bunged quite a lot of stuff in here.
Well, this would be our storage anyway for stuff we're not really using, and then you just have to take it out of the shower for when you want to use the shower. Although I've discovered there's a leak in the shower.
Oh.
So there is, so whenever we go home I'm going to have to take the taps to the shower apart and see what's going on there. But that's part of the van life, isn't it? There's always something going wrong, something broken.
To be honest, the showers here are quite good anyway, so I quite like using the facilities here because they are good. So having all that stuff in the shower and having a leak in the shower, not going to bother us too much. So I think Storm Kathleen has well and truly hit at this point. So despite the fact it is raining and we are in the storm, I feel like we have all our creature comforts. We've got our Xbox plugged in here. Stephen has a Pepsi over there. It's going down well. And we actually have a little snack drawer or snack cupboard that I can show you into. So yeah, we stocked up on a couple of the essentials. I've already had 2 out of this, but we've got Bounties, Coffee Crisp here, Frazzles, Cocoa Pops for breakfast. All the good healthy treats to keep us going. And then Stephen prefers colder chocolate. So we've got our Pepsis in here, we've got our pretzels, and some chocolate biscuits and Milky Ways. How you feeling?
What?
How you feeling?
Not great. Just shattered. So I'm not feeling the best after that long drive and getting the caravan set up. Just need to lie down a little bit.
So while we're here, we should probably take this opportunity to tell you why Stephen hasn't been in videos recently. At the end of February, he was admitted to hospital. He started having stomach pains on a Friday and he got rushed to hospital on a Saturday. When they checked everything, he was admitted, and eventually it conspired that his gallbladder had died inside of him and was given the early stages of sepsis. He was given 3 methods of pain relief, including morphine, and none of it was working. So a nurse had pushed for him to get a CT scan because of the pain, and that's whenever they found the problem. The CT scan had showed that his gallbladder was inflamed, and it wasn't actually until they went to do surgery that they found out his gallbladder had died. Usually the procedure's keyhole, but because of the severity of it, they had to open it up. During the surgery, as a precaution, they put a drain in place, and it's a good thing that they did, because after a few days he ran into a few more complications, and then this resulted in a longer hospital stay, and that's why you haven't seen him in the video for a while. She just looks so relaxed.
She was their favourite, you say?
So I'm going to go through the order here, what we've just got for hip chip. I think we're both going to go for the chicken kebabs since we liked them last time.
Yeah.
Do you want to add cheese and bacon?
Do you need to ask?
Okay. So the good thing about this hip chip, it actually has an app, so it's the hipchip.co.uk, so if you're in Bushmills, check that out. And it's just processing our
garlic
order.
Sauce as well, yeah.
Garlic's on it, yeah. Oh yes. Yeah, so 6:30 is our processing time, so exactly 9 minutes time from now.
6:30 is when it's ready, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, okay. Oh, it's not long. So it's not,
So that's it. All quick, painless, through an app. And it's really nice chippy.
And Perby Rosie's not getting any.
She's getting her dinner, aren't you?
She didn't look like she really wanted that. It was first. Put this down there. Open it like a person.
It's pretty exciting. Okay.
You Rosie's sleeping there, so she.
What you cracking a lacking on?
Been having a little issue. Sun just went down. Gotta hurry.
So it's the end of the first night here. I'm sleeping in the dinette because Rosie likes to sleep in the bed with Stephen, so I've been kicked out. We actually never really used this area before, but it's actually quite handy because if one of us wants to go on our phone or edit a video, we can just close ourselves off. Well, mostly. So it's our second morning here. Stephen's just went to the on-site shop. How did you find that?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, we've got a few of the necessities to do, which is good. So if you're running the likes of chemicals or, but we've lost our doggy bags, so we've had to buy more doggy bags. So it's good to have them things on site.
So at the minute we're walking through the actual caravan park part of it, where people have statics. It's a really nice site. It's really clean and really nice laid out. We're following this route to get to the dog walk that we've done before, just so we can get Rosie off the lead and let her have a little run about. So they sort of make it easy for you to find out where the dog walk is, because there's little yellow paw prints on the floor. So at the minute we've been training Rosie a bit more because she is in her teenage years. She's acting up a little bit more than usual, and the caveat of that is she just wants to get running everywhere instead of walking beside us. So that's why we have her on a bit of a tight leash. But once we get into here, sorry, go on.
She used to walk beside us, but it seemed to be she had a certain age, and then it was like, no, I'm doing what I want to do, no matter what you tell me to do.
But I think once we get up here, if it's quiet enough, we can let her off.
Oh.
So this is the actual entrance to the dog walk, and it has this really well laid out path that you can follow. We've also spotted along the dog walk, there are plenty of bins along the way for waste, which is also good because not every caravan park with a dog walk has enough bins that we found in the past. I know we've certainly been to some. We thought we wish there was more bins for litter.
More bins and stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
I would say as well, although it is a grass walk, it's well drained. So although we've been getting a bit of mixed weather where it's been raining one minute and dry the next minute, as soon as you get, I'd say, an hour or two of dry, it seems that the walk does, it's like it's not muddy. You know, it's not too bad. Right, Rosie, come here. Come here. Good girl, sit. Good girl, stay. Stay. Good girl. Go.
Hey, there she goes. It's as if she's never been let off the lead before.
Rosie, come here. Good girl.
It's a good thing to do. She hasn't been too bad on the recall, which is one thing that we really wanted to train her with whenever we first got her. Wanted to make sure her recall was really good because she has such a high energy jog.
Yeah, it's most important. As soon as we got her from a puppy, recalling her name every single day, every single time she gets out, even out in the garden. Though, as I said before, she has hit this age where sometimes she'll come back and sometimes she'll just go, no, I'm doing what I'm doing. Rosie! She also doesn't go too far away, which is good. She usually knows better.
So we've been trying to recently figure out what breed Rosie actually is, because so many people ask us all the time.
I do, yeah.
And we never really had a definite answer, so we found that whenever we went together, she was advertised as a Collie Lab Cross. And since we found out that she actually has Springer in there too, which explains the high energy.
So much.
There's multiple sort of pathways you can take here. It all does lead back to the one way, which is nice. But even the scenery, like the mountains, everything in the background, it's really, really well laid out, and it's really lovely to look at. And in terms of Stephen's recovery, you can see the flat land. There's no uphill, there's no real inclines. It's relatively straightforward. So we've made it about halfway through.
Not even.
Not even halfway.
Not even halfway, about a quarter of the way.
through the dog walk, and the rain's starting to pick up. So it is the effects of being away in the storm at the minute, and in the effects in general of the Irish weather, I would say.
Typical Irish spring, yes. You don't know whether it's going to rain, snow, hail, gale force winds, and then sometimes you get some sun in between that as well.
Yeah, I think the weather from we have come here has been genuinely quite good. You're getting the odd shower, the odd burst of sun, which is pretty much all year round for Ireland, especially in the summer and spring months. Walking along here, looking at some of the statics, I can see the appeal on why you would want to have a static caravan in a park as well. I know my parents certainly love their static, but for us I think because we like to explore, that's the main reason.
Because we like to explore, yeah, but look at some of these statics have a view of the lake, which we've just seen now. I didn't notice it the last time over here.
I would say down the line, I mean, probably pick through, but down the line we would probably stick to the touring caravan. Van conversion is definitely something that we want to pursue, and definitely something that we're going to pursue, full-time van life in the future, hopefully within the next 4 or 5 years, all being well. And then I would say maybe if we ever were to settle down, I know a lot of people would look at the likes of holiday homes or the likes of places abroad. I kind of like the idea of maybe getting a couple of, if this is like a dream scenario, if we had the money, maybe getting a couple of statics in a couple of different parks throughout the...
So this is your imagination running wild, is what
This is my imagination running wild. This is my
This is if you win the lottery sort of idea.
Yeah, if I won the lottery I would have maybe 3 statics, like one in Spain, one in Italy.
You're not asking for much, are you?
Or one in maybe Norway or somewhere, and I've got like 3 different climates that we can hop off to. That's dream scenario.
And then you woke up.
Yeah, and then I woke up. But for now I'm happy with my lot. I think I'm happy with my little caravan, although definitely fan conversion.
Fan conversion is definitely what we're going to aim for, because I think the two of us are sick of this rat race that we have ended up in, and I know a lot of people have gotten themselves into this as well, where like I've been working from I was quite young, not like working properly, but I've been doing jobs and earning money for as long as I can really remember, and you just get yourself into this cycle of the more you make, the more you want, and we've done that. Like I've had nice cars, our house is quite nice, you know, but it's not made us really any happier, like, has it?
No.
Whenever we started this, we realised this is what we really enjoy doing, like, and together as well, because we would struggle sometimes to find what we really like to do together, only whenever we're on holidays. So the exploring and getting out and seeing different things is something we really enjoy, and we haven't ever been happier than whenever we do this. So I think trying to move forward and make this a full-time thing, plus with the cost of living, like having a house like what we do, it's ridiculously expensive, and we tried to plan to make it as budget friendly as possible, but then COVID happened in the midst of us getting our house. So, and you can't plan for things like that, but with everything going through the roof, doing what we want to do that makes us happy is more cost effective in a way, so why not go for it? Why not try and make that the reality?
So I think there's a lot to be said about people who pursue a nomadic lifestyle, especially after your health scare. It does show you that you never know what life's going to throw at you, and our number one thing was to sort of travel while we're healthy, and for something like that to come up, you know, you just never know.
Healthy can disappear very quickly, especially for us, like we're only young.
Ish.
So we're just back from our walk with wee Rosie. So now we're going to take the car, we're going to drive into Bushmills, have a wee nosy around Bushmills, and then we'll maybe drive out further and just see what we can see along the coast.
So if you've watched our previous videos, you know that we're foodies. You know to look at us that we like our food. Let's be honest. No qualms about it. So we're going to look for a nice bun and a nice dessert and a nice drink so we can get even bigger for all of you. So what are you thinking for this drive?
So usually when we're up at the north coast, we get as far as Ballycastle, and we don't usually go any further, but since we're Bushmills, we're actually going to go the other direction that we usually do, and we're going to head towards Portrush direction. Just going to follow the coastline and see what we can see, but we haven't really ever been Portrush direction many times before.
No, and considering Portrush here is so popular. It's like a real popular holiday destination for people from north of Ireland. Popular was the right term for Portrush on this particular day. The town was so busy that we couldn't get a parking space, so we headed onward to Port Stewart. We see a nice little place to pull in. We're in a Gree coastal park. Let's have a look and see what we can see. So we've just stopped on our way to Port Stewart. Steve on a little bit of a break, so as we've stopped in, I'm going to explore for a little bit. So this is a discovery point. It is the rocky coastline between the popular seaside resorts of Port Stewart and Portrush. Has numerous bays, headlands, and as you can see, fabulous views of Donegal, the Atlantic Ocean and Scotland's southwestern islands. So there is a little path that you can walk along to get a better look at the sea and the area. So I'm just going to do a quick little walk, stretch the legs for a bit. It would have actually been nice to get the drone out here today, but because of the wind being 70 miles an hour, I don't think that's such a good idea. So we managed to park up in a place called Port Stewart Strand, and it's actually a beach that you can drive onto. And we've just noticed a place to get something to eat here, so we're going to go and do that as well. So this building over to the right of me is a sauna and sea. So what you do is you go in the sauna and then you jump into the sea. You can really see the effects that the storm has had on the beach as well, because although it looks like it's blue skies, the waves are very high and the sand's blowing about. So the thing is, with walking along this beach behind me, you can see the blue skies. If I was to turn around, you can see it's completely dull and grey, and it's going to start raining. So we're going to make a quick dash for the car before the storm starts again. So we headed towards Harry's Shack to try and get something to eat. The little kiosk wasn't open though, and we literally paid £8 to park here, so I'm not too thrilled about the fact that there wasn't really any options that were dog accessible, but I suppose it is what it is.
No, that's probably the worst part, is if you have a dog with you, especially for somewhere like this, which would be dog friendly, or it's meant to be dog friendly. You'd think like the cafe, they'd have an outdoor cafe, or the ability for takeout, but it just didn't seem to cater for any of that.
Yeah, although it is a lovely spot, it is a great beach, and I just think it's a bit too cold and the winds are a bit too high today to really get the goodness out of it, which is maybe why they've closed the kiosk in the first place.
Could be, yeah, could be.
So, a bit of a loss, but...
A good thing to know though is you can bring your camper van onto this beach and park it. So you can, well, it will cost you money, but you can bring the camper van down here. Or motorhome.
The £8 also, adding on to that, the £8 is for all day parking, so I suppose if you are looking at a scenic spot for van life, then it is good in that aspect.
Yeah, for the all day parking. And you don't have to just stay here, you can leave, and as long as you have your receipt you can come back again, so you can park. I don't know about overnight, I don't think you could do overnight, but still all day looks pretty good.
Yeah. So I mean, you're taking the good with the bad whenever you come to this place.
And whenever it's nice and sunny, like you would spend it, and you would spend all day here, no problem, so you would.
Although our day at the beach wasn't what we'd hoped for, we still managed to make it back to Bushmills town in time for lunch. We got a tasty bacon, brie and cranberry wrap from a place called Lily's, and finished it up with 2 large tray bakes. Overall, our time in Ballyness and the town of Bushmills was just what we needed for our first trip of the season. Make sure you stay tuned for our next video, which will be our review of the caravan park. While we're here, we just want to thank everyone who has subscribed and been commenting on our videos. And if you like this sort of content and you want to see more, me and Rosie would really appreciate if you go ahead and hit that subscribe button.
Get that booty shop.
While we're out, we're also going to look for somewhere we can get a bun to eat, because if you watched our previous vlogs, you know that we're too fat left to eat. And nice drinks so we can get even bigger for all of you.
Jesus, you can't do that in here.
Oh, turn about in here.
Friction
I hope you don't see my ass.
for the
Feels like it's out.